My hands gripped the wheel of my 2001 Toyota Corolla. The turn into Rogues Hollow was near, and my heart hadn't stopped pounding since getting off the highway. Charlie was in the passenger seat. He lit his cigarette and cracked the window. "Ready to meet the devil?" he asked. My blood ran cold. I shook my head. "I sure hope not," Brad said from the back seat. "Hooters has their wing deal tonight, and I'm not gonna miss it because some psycho ran us off the road." Charlie nearly choked on his smoke. "You might interact with the Dark Lord himself, and you're worried about food?" Brad cleared his throat. "Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about." His sarcasm was slight but noticeable. We all chuckled. "So, let me make sure I have this right," I started. "Make 3 laps on the triangle, pull over, and kill the engine for 5 minutes." "That's the word," Charlie said. "I've heard some people say they did 10 and nothing happened, but others..." He stopped. "Well, they said that they saw something that made them not want to come back." Brad leaned forward. "As long as I get wings and tight t-shirts, that's all I care about. Hell, if anything, I think our boy Lucifer may understand. Would he really want to stop us from enjoying ourselves?" Their voices were muffled. I was lost in thought. We had been to multiple places. The Conjuring House, the Lizzie Borden house, even Crybaby Bridge. Nothing huge ever happened. Each time we went in excited and ready. This time, I was scared. I was losing my faith. If anything was on the other side, shouldn't there be something to show for it? I wanted to know my Uncle Terry was in a better place. I wanted to know I had a chance to see him again. If it wasn't real, then I guess screw it. Either way, I could move on. We were deep into the hollow when Charlie perked up. "There it is!" I slammed on the brakes. Charlie dropped his cigarette on the floor. They both panicked and shuffled. "Jesus, Ryan!" Charlie exclaimed. "Sorry," I said. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Charlie asked. "We can leave." I shook my head. "No, I need to experience this." Charlie nodded. I continued. "Either it's real or it isn't. I need to know." I parked the car. We all got out. Our ears searched for any sign of movement. No cars, no trains, no animals. It was dead quiet. "You hear anything?" Brad asked. We all looked in every direction. I shook my head. So did Charlie. Brad smiled. "That's a good thing, right?" Charlie kicked a rock into the grass. "I guess it depends on your perspective." The road after the stop sign split into 2 roads, which connected again. It's what the locals called the Devil's Triangle. Only the bravest would drive it 3 times and wait for the old beat-up truck to come. After that, the legend gets fuzzy. Some say the driver is the devil. He sees your vehicle and will stop at nothing until he rams you off the road. Others say he pulls up next to you and offers you a deal. And few people say he actually gets out of the vehicle. What happens after that? No one knows. We grew up hearing this legend. So many times high schoolers would talk about going out to Devil's Triangle, whether it was on a dare or if they wanted a creepy place to smoke a joint. I can't say for sure why Charlie and Brad came, but I wanted to know the truth. Is there a God? Was there heaven and hell? Flying spaghetti monster? What waited for me after death? I spent too long wondering. That night, I needed an answer. It was a night I would never forget. I asked Charlie for a cigarette, and he obliged. "Start smoking again?" he asked. I nodded. "Yeah, Just now. They both laughed, and I soon followed. After some pointless conversation, I dished the smoke. Let's do this, I said. We all piled into the car. I'm rolling the windows down, I said, pushing all of the buttons. Brad resisted. Hey now, what if he tries to get in? I assured him. If I see the truck coming, I'll roll them up. I just want to be sure we can tell where it's coming from. Brad breathed deep. Fine. I looked at them both. Ready? They nodded. I moved the car forward, slowly. I turned immediately to the right. We were in the triangle. The first left turn was coming. The road wasn't big. It almost seemed unnecessary. Why put a piece of road in this shape? There were no obstacles, no reason. Why wasn't it a straight line? The second turn. All I could hear was the rubber in the road. It was so damn quiet. The third turn. One cycle was done. Brad piped up. We're almost there. His voice was direct and emotionless. Charlie lit another smoke. I don't see any headlights, I responded. I don't think we will until after number 3. He dragged harder on his Winston. There is that. I swear he shivered on the next drag. The second cycle was done. Only one more. What if we get stuck here? Brad asked. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to walk back through the woods. Charlie ditched his smoke. Don't worry, I'll carry you. I laughed, quickly scanning the trees. I know where I want to park. Brad leaned forward. You do? I nodded. If we were going to experience anything, this is how we needed to do it. Looking back, I should have just drove away. I pulled off the triangle and back to the road that we started on. I coasted to a dead stop in the middle of the road. I was angled across both lanes. If he was coming, I wanted him to know we were there. I pulled the keys from the ignition. Charlie's eyes darted at me. What the hell are you doing? I looked both ways, waiting for any sign of headlights. We want an experience, right? I said. Then let's make it happen. I got out. Yo, Brian, what the fuck? Brad squealed. I shut the door and walked down the road. I heard the car doors open and close. Hey, come on, get back in the car, Charlie said, running to me. He stopped beside me. We get it, okay? You're serious. We just need to be smart. I looked ahead and behind me. Brad caught up to us. Look, I will drag your asses back in that car if you don't come back right now. We both looked at him. Really? We both said in unison. He shook his head. No, but... He started pacing. God damn it, why did I agree to this? We waited for a few moments. Still dead silent. The devil was running late. We should call it, man, Charlie said. Come on, we got wings and boobs to see. I couldn't believe it. I was in the hot spot of our state and nothing was happening. Shit, I whispered. I kicked a rock. Come on, Brad patted my shoulder. The night's not over. Let's go have a good time. We made our way back to the vehicle and got in. I sighed. Maybe none of it's real. I put the keys in the ignition and turned. The engine came to life with ease. Brad started laughing. We're in the clear. I looked back. What do you mean? He pointed to the dashboard. Your car is working. That's a huge win. We all laughed. I took out my iPhone. What should we listen to? Charlie put up his finger. How about Jesus Loves Me? I chuckled. Not a bad choice for tonight. A piercing bright light filled the car. We all jumped. I looked in the rearview mirror. Brad whipped around and gripped the seat. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I twisted myself, nearly colliding with Charlie. There were headlights. Get us out of here, Brad said. I threw the car in reverse and parked on the dirt next to the road. Ryan, what the hell are you doing? Brad asked. I want to see it, I said quietly. Dude, fucking drive! Brad shouted. I got out. Hey! Charlie exclaimed. I stood next to the car. I stared into the blinding lights. Was this him? Was this the devil? I stood strong. I was scared, but now I was ready. If he was real, and there was a heaven, I knew my uncle would go there. I just needed something. Anything. The truck approached us. It was slowing down. Get in the car! I heard from inside the vehicle. They both protested but didn't get out. The high beam shut off. I could smell the fumes from the exhaust. It stopped next to me. I backed into my car and found the door handle. My fingers gripped it. Inside was an older-looking gentleman. White long beard, trucker hat, and a cigar in his mouth. He rolled down the passenger window. You boys staying out of trouble? His voice was like gravel. Just sightseeing, I said. He laughed. Ain't nothing down here to see. You ain't those goat-gutting fuckers that like to party down here, are you? I didn't know how to respond. I never even touched a goat. I managed to get out. He flicked his ash on the road. Why don't you run along now? He put the cigar back in his mouth. Ain't nothing bad needs to happen to you. He winked and took off. I watched his taillights disappear. Brad pounded the window. Can we please leave? I snapped out of it and got in. What the hell did he say to you? Charlie asked. My mind blanked. I don't know. Charlie looked around. Was it the devil? I shook my head. I highly doubt it. Brad patted the back of my seat. Do I really have to ask if we can leave one more time? I smiled. All right, let's get some wings. I pulled the car into drive and pressed on the gas pedal. The back end lurched over what felt like a mountain. We heard an ear-piercing squeal. I immediately stopped the car. I looked at all of my mirrors. What the hell did I hit? Charlie turned on his phone light and leaned out of the car. I think you ran over someone, he said, his breath quickening. My heart sank. How? Brad started. We're alone. Just go. What if they're still alive? Charlie shot back. And what if they aren't? Brad demanded. The car shook. We heard a loud snap and another shriek of pain. We all winced and looked everywhere. What was happening? All sound left. The stillness of the forest was now in the car. I reached the window buttons and pushed all four at once. They crawled up slowly. A squishing sound was coming from behind the car. Brad turned around and screamed. What the fuck is that? A figure, darker than the forest, stood heaving with its gaze on all three of us. It walked to the driver's side of the car. Brad's screams were deafening. Charlie and I just watched. I could see a face. The mouth. That's all I could focus on. Did it even have eyes? I can't remember. The squishes continued with every step. I saw its right arm. It was severed, just below the elbow. An ooze poured out of it, making puddles that its feet splashed through. Every hair stood on end. I couldn't even hear Brad anymore. I was so terrified. I forgot I was driving. This thing, it wanted all of my attention. Our attention. The vacuum released and I could hear Brad again. "Drive!" he boomed. I slammed on the gas, burning my tires before we launched forward. We were booking it down the straightaway road back to the highway. It wasn't far, but it wasn't close. "Brad, can you still see it?" Charlie asked. Brad darted his eyes. "No, I don't see it." I kept up speed. There were 2 more hills, a set of tracks, and then we were home free. The first hill was done. "Anything?" I asked. Brad never took his gaze away. "No, I think it's gone." He leaned closer, focusing his vision. The second hill was approaching. "We're almost there," I exclaimed. We came across the top of the incline. That's when we heard it. A train whistle was blowing. The track would soon be blocked off by the arms that were now coming down. Charlie gripped the dashboard. "No," he whispered. Brad smacked the back of the seat. "It's coming!" I looked at the rearview mirror. The shape of terror was rocketing towards us. Its legs were a blur. "Don't stop," Brad said. "Don't stop!" Its eyes glowed red. I could see them clearly. It did have eyes. "Don't stop!" Its steps shook my ears. "Oh my God!" I could see it smile. When my eyes met the road again, we collided into the first arm of the track. It splintered and broke free. The second followed suit. The train's roar was deafening. Everything stopped. I saw the steel monster to my left. It was close enough to make me piss myself. I closed my eyes and gripped the wheel with all my might. The thing behind us was hit with all force of the train and evaporated from existence. We heard one more sound that came from it. Was it fear? I can't know for sure, but it was louder than any sound it made so far. The car plopped onto the ground. My front end kissed the road and we swerved to an abrupt stop. We all breathed heavily. My hands finally left the wheel. Brad scanned the crossing. He started to laugh. "Holy shit!" He got out of the vehicle. "Holy shit!" he said again, this time louder and full of joy. "We killed it!" He started jumping up and down. His whooping filled the countryside. "You guys have got to see this!" He was running to the tracks. The last car of the train went by, allowing what was left of the arms to go back to their vertical positions. We got out too. We saw the carnage. Whatever this thing was, it was all over the place now. "Did we kill the devil?" Charlie asked. I smiled. "I think we did." I laughed. Their chest heaves came soon after. We took our time on that high. We did something we couldn't comprehend before now. We killed it. It may not have been the devil. Whatever it was, it made me know that there's more than I can understand. I won't know everything, but not everything is unbeatable. Wherever my uncle was, I came to peace with it that night. Not the way I thought I would, sure. But when does anything happen the way that we think it will? We calmed down until mere chuckles were left. "Let's celebrate," Charlie demanded. "I think we've earned it." I spun my keys and caught them with glee. Yeah, let's get out of here. Brad sped towards the car. "I don't know about you, but I could use a drink."